Alright, what's up guys? We are back out here at the Mint Hill Shoe Market. It is not a first run, but I am bringing you that first run energy on a Wednesday morning. I mean, look at that. We got the Adizero SL2 and the Mach 6, and then I did the same thing on the stair below. I just thought it looked cool. I don't even know. Let's get these ones out of the way, but we might have to go to the backyard too because he's going ham with the weed whacker. But today we are doing a head-to-head comparison of two of the best lightweight but versatile, fast, and fun everyday running shoes that have hit the market this year. So we have the Adidas, we have the Hoka. Both of these are bouncy, both of these on the softer side. Both of these I've really enjoyed just running in no matter what pace I'm going. So I spotlighted the Nike Pegasus pretty heavily last week. This week, I'm just going to go for it. I'm just going to ride the SL2 into the ground. That's what we do here on this channel. We get the shoes in, we cover the heck out of them, and I let you know all the ins and outs of them. So that's what we got today, baby. SL2 versus Mach 6. Let's get into it. All right, guys. So our friend paused with the weed whacker over there. So I think we can go ahead and get this overview in. No. All right, backyard time. Oh, gosh. And the trials and tribulations of a suburban shoe tuber. Alright, it's quiet back here. Hopefully the mosquitoes don't get to me, but we can only hope. They'll probably be eating me. So, Mach 6 SL2. Alright, here we go, guys. So these are two of the top fast and fun everyday running shoes on the market. And this year we've really seen a split where you have shoes like the Mach 6 that are going for this lightweight speed training vibe that aren't necessarily designed for a lot of comfort. There are comfortable elements of both of these shoes, but they aren't designed to be these bulky, heavy, super tall, above 40 millimeter stack height shoes, and they aren't also designed to have the most stability. So this is one category. Then the other category, we have these wider base, a little bit higher stack, more protective shoes like the Nova Blast 4, even some traditional stability shoes like the Tempest, the 860 V14, these everyday running shoes that are designed with a little bit more bulk going on, more padding, more support for longer time on feet, and just those days where we're feeling a little bit beat up. So neither of these shoes are really ones I would pull for if I'm feeling super beat up. These are the type of shoes that I use on those days where I want to push the pace. Either I'm doing a faster workout or I just want to have something fun on my foot. So Mach 6 came into the office here earlier this year. This guy dropped, I think it was February, price point of $140. Adizero SL2 is $130. I've put about 60 miles on this so far, and the reason I actually haven't gotten this up to 100, you guys know I like to, again, ride these shoes, and mosquitoes are getting to me, ride these shoes into the ground, put a lot of miles on them quickly, is because the sizing on this guy is weird and off, and that unfortunately is one of the things we have to highlight. And you might ask, you buy shoes all the time, why don't you just buy a different size? Why don't you send it back? And I thought about that, and Hoka actually sent me a pair that was also a 10.5 that fit about a full size bigger. But I had already put 40 miles on this shoe at that point, and I want to give you the real experience of what it's like to buy the shoe. And a lot of people out there, they're just going to go into a store or most likely online. Oh, I've heard the Mach 6 is a good shoe. I'm a size 10.5. I'm going to buy a 10.5 from Hoka because 10.5 fits me in all of their other shoes, which is exactly what I did. And this shoe fit about a full size smaller. So I decided to rock with it to give you the full experience of what the Mach 6 is like. And unfortunately, that is one of the things we have to mention because they didn't get it right. We can't just sweep that under the rug about the shoe. They got the sizing wrong on it. Some people, we think it might just be this colorway. And I've heard other people in the forum say the white colorway is off. But that is something to highlight about the shoe. Hopefully they fix that on the other colorways, and hopefully that's not an issue in the future. And the Mach 5 actually fit almost a full size bigger in the size that I had before. I don't have this sizing issue with really any other brands. SL2 fits perfectly. But regardless, this foam is really lively, really bouncy ride, a little bit firmer to the touch here than what we're getting in the SL2, but both of these are definitely on the softer side when it comes to ride experience. Some of the great firmer shoes I've tried this year, so if you don't like these softer shoes, I wouldn't even, just stop watching the video, and I'll put links below to some of the firmer shoes I like. Puma Velocity Nitro 3 is probably the best explicitly or actively firm shoe in this segment that's fast and fun. And then we have the Asics Nova Blast 4. That's a little bit less fast. It's a little bit bulkier, but that's also a great shoe. So those are the two directions that would push you. If you want something a little bit more relaxed, Asics Nova Blast 4. If you want something fast and fun, that would be the Velocity Nitro 3. But this guy here, SL2, this has two different types of foam in the midsole. You have the racing foam on the inside, and it's wrapped in the training foam. It is very squishy. You guys have seen me do this in almost every video. And surprisingly, man, I think the shoe has actually rebounded really well. So I ran in it twice yesterday. I did 10 miles in the morning with some faster pace. Let me just throw it up there. I didn't actually show you guys that in the video. I did the full day of testing video yesterday, but I was ripping at a 5 flat pace, 450, 440 pace in the shoe. Some of my fastest track style workout paces ever. And I think that's because I've been just consistent with these 100-mile weeks, building up that aerobic base. It makes the low end speed once I back down on, I didn't actually even back down on the volume, but just going into a workout with a little bit fresher legs makes that pace feel smooth. So 20 miles on this yesterday, the foam felt great throughout the entire day. It feels decently protective in the forefoot, not a lot of ground feel compared to a shoe like the Rebel or compared to a shoe like the Hoka Mach 5. Mach 6 here, they went up in stack a little bit from the last generation. It does feel a little bit more cushioned. I don't love talking about the specs on this, but for comparison, this has the same amount of listed stack height, 37 millimeters in the back, as the Saucony Triumph 20 and 21, and that's considered a max cushion shoe. The foam in general, though, feels lighter, probably compresses a little bit more, not as dense as the foam in that shoe. So this doesn't ride like a super max cushion shoe, but that is what pushes it to a little bit of the more versatile side and why I wanted to do this comparison today. So this is one type of foam here. It's all of this supercritical EVA. It's a standard training foam. It's not the foam that they use for their race shoes, but they do inject it with gas. That's what that supercritical process is, injecting it with gas to make it a little bit livelier. This is a really fun foam, really fun shoe. So this is actually the same foam that they put into the Hoka Skyward X. So that has this lively training foam plus the real racing foam, and that is 50 millimeters in stack height. And that's a shoe that I would use for any days where I'm feeling super beat up. So the question I really want to answer today with these shoes, so yesterday I did a faster workout. Tomorrow I'm going to do a faster workout, probably another comparison with the SL2 because we're running it into the ground this week. But the question I want to answer today is, I know both of these shoes can sing. Can they crawl? How are these shoes going to do on a day where maybe we are a little bit beat up? How do these shoes feel for those days where we want a regular daily trainer? Because a lot of people out there, runners, aren't going to buy 4 or 5 different shoes. I know both of these shoes can hammer fast pace, but they're not the most stable all the time. So I want to answer, how is the comfort for these shoes for not just the faster running, and I'll probably throw some strides in there today too, so we can do a head-to-head comparison with the speed, which one is going to be a better speed shoe, but how do they do for everything surrounding that experience? The warm-up pace, the cool-down pace, having on foot for an hour, 2+ hours. So that's the main question today. And then we can also get some insights on durability, grip, and outsole. So heading down to the bottom here, let's just talk about that now. This outsole was solid. It was probably about a 6 or a 7 out of 10. It was better, a lot better than the Saucony shoes. I've had good luck with these and good experiences with these Hoka outsoles this year. They have this nice ridged or ribbed tech up here on the front. They have the holes. It feels lightweight, but still grips. It bites the ground just enough. The one weird thing is in the back here, they have this whole exposed area. Makes no sense. I've said this before. I'll say it again. Just take the rubber right here, copy, or control, what is it? Command X, cut, boom. Command V, paste, right there. Just cover that up. I don't know why they did it. It's like they intentionally left it blank. You need to upgrade your subscription to get more rubber back here. It makes no sense, but that's really the one downside of this outsole. And the last version of the shoe didn't have any rubber on the outsole, the Hoka Mach 5. So, and I got 300 miles out of that shoe, which is good for me. If you like trying different shoes, rotating through different shoes, if you're into the shoes, getting 300 miles, that's enough for me in this market to feel good that I got enough mileage out of a shoe, and then can move on to something else. There's no reason for me to completely beat up a shoe and run into something dead. I think 400 miles is great if you are wanting to get more life out of your shoe. Anything past 400 miles, I would not do that. I've never taken a shoe. Actually, I took my first Ultra Boost 22 to 700 miles. But the last few hundred miles of that, and this is before I really knew a lot about shoes, I was definitely feeling some knee pain, some leg pain, and then I switched into these the On Cloud Trash 2, and it completely went away. So I'd say I usually try to get 300 miles. Well, now it's a little bit different because I'm testing everything, but 300 miles is my target. Anything more than that is gravy. SL2 here, let's take a look. Rubber, bang. Adidas, I think we can say safely, Adidas makes the most. Actually, I don't know. Nike, Brooks make durable shoes. Adidas makes durable shoes, and Puma makes durable shoes. So those are the 4 best brands for durability, but Adidas shoes blend fun and durability. So that's really where they take it in this. If you're looking for fun shoes that are also going to last a long time, Adidas is the best. So they have this thick rubber outsole. The outsole here is a lot thicker on the Mach 6. I also think the wet weather performance on this is going to be a little bit better. Maybe we'll do a little wet weather test. I'll see if we have time we can do that. It's just really dry out here today, so we're not going to get it naturally. But we'll see what the time limitations are. It's only 8:11, so maybe we'll have time. But I can tell you right now, this thing is going to go forever. My Adizero SL1 has the same outsole here, and that thing got up to 285 miles, and there's basically no visible signs of wear. So it's going to go forever, grips the ground decently well. This isn't the famed Continental that Adidas has on the Boston and the other Adizero shoes, but it's still really solid. I also like how they did these cutouts. You see this? The 1, 2, 3 cutouts. I think I might give the shoe a little bit more flexibility in the forefoot here. I don't know. And I also felt like I could feel it a little bit. Maybe just a little bit more ground feel and control. It's cool regardless. They have these cutouts out here. They also have the cutout on the bottom here. This just a scoop to maybe lighten the weight, and then a cutout in the back. Hoka Mach 6 is a lot simpler. No cutouts, but it does look like a samurai took his sword and just whoop, scooped out some of that foam. So overall, Mach 6 is a lot simpler. 1 foam in here, lighter rubber outsole, nothing too crazy going on. The SL2, you have the 2 foams, you got a more beefed up outsole, you got all these cutouts, the design language is a little bit more aggressive. Heading up to the upper though, this guy has a little bit more padding. Let's take a look at this. So the SL2 has more padding on the inside, it's a little bit softer. Mach 6 it looks like it has padding, but it's not that soft. I don't know. Can you see this? And it's not like I have that many more miles on the Mach 6. It's about 60 on the Mach 6, 30 on the SL2. So it'd only be 1 or 2 more days of running on the SL2, and it'll be the same level as the Mach 6. You just get a little bit more soft padding up on the SL2. This upper fit like a glove. I'll get it on the foot in a second here, but one of the most dialed in uppers of the year, I have to say. Mach 6 was good as well, nice and breathable. These are both 2 of the best summer running shoes, which is another reason why I wanted to do this. Both thin, lightweight uppers. Issue with this guy is, again, that fit, man. Absolutely killing me in the white colorway. And you're going to say, Why you keep talking about the fit, bro? You should have just done that exchange. No, I shouldn't have, because this is the thing. They got to get their sizing right, man. They got to get their sizing right, and I'm just a regular consumer, and a lot of consumers are going to buy the shoe and have the same experience. And I've seen people on the forums say, oh, I've put 30 miles on the shoe, 40 miles on the shoe. Is the upper going to stretch out? It's not going to stretch out, unfortunately. So hopefully someone sees this video and knows if you get the white colorway, go up a half a size or a size, or order through my running warehouse link. Is the thing, little plug. And then you get the free returns, or just do one of the other colorways. But let's get these things on foot. I'll make sure to use I'll do the foot-to-foot comparison with the right shoe of the Mach 6, because this one is a little bit bigger. So, yeah, let's get these on foot. Oh, also, I told you I was bringing that first run energy, so let me go grab the scale. Do it just a little quick weigh-in. We made the scale sexy over here. You already know. All right, guys, quick weigh-in here. First ever comparison test weigh-in. Look at this. So, right shoe of the Mach 6, 234.5 grams. The thing is, you got to keep in mind the weird sizing. This is probably a half an inch shorter than it should be. So this might be about 250 if we think about equivalent length or the comfortable sizes in both of these shoes. This would probably be about a 250. Now let's get the Adizero SL2 on. Boom. 260. So the SL2 is a touch heavier That's going to be coming from this foam here is probably a little bit denser in the SL2, and you also have a lot more rubber on the bottom, and maybe it's the padding on the upper too, but yeah, just a little bit longer in the sizes that we have here. A little bit more foam, or a little bit denser foam, and a little bit more rubber. So with that, guys, let's get these bad boys on foot, baby. Let's go. So yesterday we answered the question, is the Adizero SL2 in the conversation for best lightweight, fun, speed training shoes? And the answer is yes. We also answered the question, how is the on-foot comfort for time on feet, for doing normal stuff, for evaluating it as a regular sneaker? And the answer was, it's great. This shoe is right up there with New Balance 1080 V13 in terms of soft comfort. Now, for running, 1080 V13 feels a little bit, it just feels like there's a little bit more foam, feels a little bit more relaxed, a little bit more protection. This is more speed-oriented, and that's where the Mach 6 lands as well. It's not a max cushion cruiser type of shoe, but comparing both of these guys, let's get the Mach 6 on foot, and we're all wiggly and wobbly. By the way, I should have mentioned, this video is brought to you by our friends over at Crocs. Put some respect on their name. Crocs, comfiest slides in the game. These are the mellow recovery slides. If you like soft and squishy, like the Mach 6 or the SL2, I mean, look at this. This is the Crocs Light Ride foam. Yes, they even have a branded name on their foam. This will probably ride better than, not going to mention any names, but React X maybe? Yeah, pick up a pair of these below with the link. Help support the channel, help support your feet. They're perfect for after long runs. And yeah, so the right shoe on the Mach 6 here, it's snug, but it's not too bad. And let's get on to, hold on, let me tie this, and let's get on to a little bit of a level ground, because I picked a weird spot here. This brick is just protruding. That probably means there's a tree branch out here, or a tree root that's gonna uproot my entire backyard situation. There's also ants just infesting this walkway. Alright, let's move. Alright, so the Mach 6 definitely feels more rockered. You have that roll to it. Can you see the bottom of the shoe here? Look at this. Yeah, it curves up. It has that smooth rolling feel, and you can really, look at this. Yeah, you can really notice it at the front of the platform. Versus Adizero SL2, you don't have too much of that. It's a lot flatter of a shoe. You're not going to get as much of that rocker. I don't think the shoe quite needs it for faster running, because of how bouncy and explosive it feels. It feels explosive. It's weird because I've never felt a soft and explosive shoe. But this combines that ultra dense bounce of a Boston 12 or Adios Pro 3, that explosiveness with a little bit of that lighter, fluffier, marshmallowy feeling you get out of a ZoomX. So it's a nice shoe. I'm hyping it up. I know I'm gassing it up. But yeah, Mach 6 on the other hand, it doesn't feel as flat. It feels a lot curved. I also feel like I'm getting a lot more foam. Not just a little bit. I feel like I'm getting a lot more foam in the rear here, at least for standing and walking. It is just so much more cushioned. Yeah, weirdly, and I know the drop, I think the drop on the SL2, so the difference between the front and the back is 9 millimeters, which should make me feel like I'm more up on my toes here, is more slanted forward, but I actually get that in the Mach 6, even though it has a lower drop because of the rocker. So this is why I don't always focus on the specs, guys. Mach 6 definitely has more of that on my toes, fast shoe feeling when I put it on. SL2 has more of a relaxed, flat, planted feeling when I put it on. So let's do a little walk test here. Evaluate these for walking, how they feel. Yeah, SL2 is definitely squishier, a little bit less supportive, and I do feel my heel sinking down a lot into the back of the SL2, whereas in the Mach 6, for this walking and pace and standing, it doesn't feel like the foam is compressing as much. Let's see if we can get a view of this. All right, Mach 6 compression. SL2 compression. Yeah, SL2 is compressing a lot. There's also just less of it. Let's do a little bit of a width comparison. It seems like the Mach 6, yeah, the Mach 6 is wider here. So that's the thing. Mach 6 is wider, gives me more stability, more cushion. So far, the versatility is going a little bit more to the Mach 6, just in terms of putting this on my foot. If I'd have to pick either of these for all day comfort, which one is going to be more cushioned, which one is going to be more protective, we got to go with the Hoka, and they're living up to their brand here, which is we make cushioned, comfortable shoes. And the other part of their brand, or how they exist in the brand of runners, is we make shoes that aren't the most fun and bouncy, but that's changing with the Skyward X, even with the Mach X. I haven't tested that one, but that was the first one to start reshaping the narrative, and of course CLOX1. So on foot here, just if I had to pick one of these for walking, and if I had both of them in the correct size, I would go for Mach 6. But let me put on the left shoe of the Mach 6, because this is the one where I had the issue. And it seems like the sizing is off even between the pairs. So let me put on the left foot of the Mach 6, and we can do one more little walk test right here. The great thing about either of these shoes is if you want that one shoe for Disney World or birthday parties and everything, if you have, and some guy told me it was gross, but people really do ask me, I want one shoe for everything, for traveling, for going to the gym, for working out. Either of these two shoes can do that. And yeah, man, this left shoe is snug. So in the right shoe here, look at this. My toe goes up to right at the edge of the toe box. In the left shoe, I am at the toe box. I might have to raw dog it with the socks here. And just, I don't know. Well, I'll keep them on for now. This is why I don't have the shoe at 100, guys. Don't risk your foot health, bro. It's not worth it. Guess what? I'm a shoe tester. This is what I do, baby. I'm the best running shoe. Who else you know is risking their foot health to bring you that light, fast, and fun comparison? All right, a little walk text here. Yeah, the left shoe of the Mach 6 is, to use a scientific term, mad snug. It is mad snug, dude. This is tight. But just in terms of the walking here, yeah, man, this cushion is really comfortable, nice and soft. I could have this on my foot all day for sure. For sure. It's not going to be as stable as other Hoka shoes. It's not as wide as a Bondi. It doesn't have the same type of cushion as the Clifton. It's probably not even going to be as good of a walking shoe as some of the New Balances. But thinking about in this light category, if you want a lightweight shoe to walk in that's fun, that looks clean, this is a top pick. A little bit more cushioned for walking than the Rebel V4 as well. I liked the Rebel V4 for walking, but that has, I'm not sure if everyone's going to love that shoe for walking because it has a little bit more of that minimalist, almost Nike free run or Nike Epic React feeling. So this, again, like the SL2, I said this yesterday, this blends elements really nicely of light, fast, and fun with cushioned comfort. So with that, guys, it is time for our running comparison. I do not want to prolong having these Mach 6 on my feet because the left one is not that comfortable. So I think I'm going to do 4 to 6 miles in these guys. I want to get about 8 to 10 this morning. This is a recovery day, but I want to add some strides in. So probably 4 miles in these guys, do some strides and take them off and switch into the SL2. Do the same 4 to 6 miles in strides. Let us do it, baby. Hold on, I brought these shoes out, the Saucony Tempest and the 860, because I was thinking about doing another video, but I do want to highlight something real quickly, okay? So if you are running every day, if you're running a lot of miles, it might make sense for you to have a shoe like the Tempest or 860. And this is something I discovered yesterday. As fun as the SL2 is, I don't want to run in this shoe every day. I don't want to run in these light, fast, fun shoes every day because they don't have as much support as I'd like for those days where I just want to take it easy. So for some runners, just having the SL2 or Mach 6 might make sense. If you're running, I don't like putting numbers to it, but below 30 miles a week or not running every day, it it probably makes sense to just have one pair of shoes, unless you're a fan of shoes and like the shoes and get as many as you want. But you don't need to have a ton of shoes if you're not running every day. Now, if you're training for a marathon, running 5, 6, 7 times a week, it might make sense to then have a rotation of shoes that have different characteristics. So a shoe like the 860 or the Saucony Tempus here, these have a little bit denser foams. They feel more protective. They have more impact absorption. They're wider. The stability is better. They have more support. Both of these are prescriptive stability shoes, so they have elements in there like these more built up heels that hold your foot in place. And I've realized, guys, and I've run a 2:49 marathon, a 1:19 half marathon, a 17-minute 5K. I'm a hobby jogger speedy. And I've realized I can use a lot of support on some days, not a lot of support, but I can use some support on days where I don't want to push the pace. I can benefit from it. And we all have different weaknesses. We all have things we're working on. So this is all to say, there's no shame in getting a stability shoe. And I would encourage people to rotate between different types of shoes. Studies have shown that can prevent injury. And it's not just studies, man. Anecdotally, I can tell you, I feel better when I'm running in different types of shoes and when I have a more comfortable, supportive shoe. So this is the SL2 versus Mach 6 comparison. Maybe I'll do a Tempest versus 860 comparison. But I did want to say, for some of us out there who are running every day, it might make sense to have 2 different types of daily trainers. One that's a little bit heavier, more built up, more structured, more supportive, and then a fast and fun one for those days where you have your strides, your faster pace pickups, you could even use for workouts. And those are really the 2 types of shoes that most people will need. That's all you really need. Then you could add a more dedicated workout shoe like a Boston 12. You could add a race shoe, but just having 2 types of everyday running shoes, if you're going to be running every day, that's more than enough. So let me know what stability shoe comparisons and not fun daily. And both of these are fun shoes too, which is why I pulled them out. But yeah, let me know what comparisons you guys want to see when it comes to stability trainers and more built up max cushion shoes that aren't necessarily the sexiest and speediest on the market. But I'm already gabbing too much. We got to hit this run. Another beautiful day in the burbs, baby. Let's go. So the Mach 6 feels more like an Adidas shoe than the SL2. It has more of that slight density to it that we usually expect from the Lightstrike Pro. And so I ran the SL2 yesterday, 20 miles. That's why I'm doing this one first. That one's still fresh in my brain. But yeah, Mach 6 definitely has more of that rockered feel. So if you miss the Saucony Endorphin Speed 2 or Speed 3 rock and roll sensation, you'll probably like this one. Lots of rock and roll. Yeah, nice and poppy, a little bit less of a sinking in than the SL2. Definitely more stable and definitely more of that heel cushion on this guy. And so far, I think my left foot's holding in there. We'll see how it goes. Man, this is gonna be a tough one. And I'm telling you now, there's not going to be a clear winner here. It's really just about preference, because these are 2 awesome shoes. And man, is this Mach 6 foam lively. Oh my gosh. So I just hit my little warm-up loop around the back of the house here, and I feel like I'm holding myself back a little bit. Like the shoe wants me to go faster, which is not something that I got in the SL2. So this is more cushioned but it is definitely encouraging me to run more, just run faster than I feel I really want to on a recovery day like today. Today should be more of a, and that is loud, I apologize. Today should be more of a recovery or easy mileage. I don't like saying easy, but relaxed mileage day. And this shoe wants me to run and gun, baby. So it's gonna be great for the strides, but I'm definitely holding myself back, especially down this hill here. It is just popping me right along. I felt that the SL2 yesterday on my second run felt a little bit more natural at those slower paces. Now we're about to hit mile 1 here, and because of the rocker, man, I was just charging up that hill. I'm tired, I'm gassed, winded. Hold on, let me catch my breath. Look like I'm Billy Blanks. All right, so because of the rocker of the shoe, it definitely has a sweet spot for landing, which is mid to forefoot, which for me forces me to run faster. And because I run so many miles, I do have more of a relax. And yeah, that was a 7:36. So on a true recovery day, I'm 7:45 plus. So we're definitely into daily mile territory, maybe even a little, faster daily mile territory right now for me, which is 6:40 to 7:40. So definitely not a recovery shoe here. Definitely makes me want to pick up the pace, which is not the experience I was getting in the SL2 yesterday, where I was cruising at about a 7:50, 7:45 for 10 miles in the afternoon heat. And that shoe felt a little bit better for relaxed miles. It feels the same amount of soft at every pace. This one really wants me to land up right at that rocker and then pops me off. So ironically, this has more cushion, but I think we're gonna conclude probably that it's less versatile than the SL2. So we'll update on the Piggly Wigglies. Lengthwise, it's not too bad. Not feeling too much smashage, but width-wise, that's where I'm getting crushed. That little sockety rub spot on the left outside part of my left foot, that's getting crushed in here. Lots of rubbing, big rubbing. But again, if you get your fit right, that shouldn't be an issue. But it wouldn't have been an issue for anyone if Hoka just got the fit right. I'm not letting you off the hook, Hoka, for this one. I don't even know what that was, but he had a vibe going for sure. Talk about rock and roll. We just hit mile 2. Now I'm laughing because we came in at exactly 7:36 again. So the shoe is locked into a very specific pace. So it's gonna feel best for most people, likely at your faster everyday pace range. That's exactly where we hit on the last 2 miles. So I'm just gonna cruise for a bit and then pop this thing back on for the strides, test with some of that faster top end speed. Can you guys take a look at this, man? Look at the cerulean sky, the verdant emerald grass. We've got dragonflies jauntily bouncing along. American flags placed just so to suggest the dominance that this country once had, or maybe does still.
and then bang, Tangerine Dodge Charger, banging a Larry down Farm Oak Lane. It's a good summertime vibe if I've ever seen one. Morning. All right, that explains a lot, man. That lady's the best. Now I know why. All right, so we're about to hit mile 4 here. The squirrels just, with no care in the world whether or not they die. Yeah, we're about to hit mile 4. I'm gonna pop a few strides. So 4 20-second surges right here, faster pace. Just so we get a true head-to-head of speed in both of these shoes. And before we do that though, one of the things I am noticing, that was mile 3, 7:30, so we're locked in. But one of the things I am noticing is this foam is a little less resilient than the Light Strike and Light Strike Pro combination in the SL2, meaning it doesn't stand up as well to time on feet as the Adidas, which we would expect from the brands, but I thought I should mention it because when I did the double day in this shoe, it didn't feel as great on the second run as the first, and even 20 minutes into the run versus 5 minutes into the run feels a little bit less bouncy. But let's pop these strides. Little quick surges here. First one, let's do it. So good, man. So good. So good. So good. Sweet Hoka Mach 6. Bum, bum. I should stop singing because then everything I do I leave in. And then this video is going to be another hour long. Epic. Like the past two. But yeah, man, this is great for faster stuff. I don't know how they make it so comfortable and so fast. But definitely just a smidge less soft than the SL2, maybe even more than a smidge. That shoe is a lot softer. And when running fast in this, it almost firms up a little bit. Again, like that denser Light Strike Pro. So if you're looking for a lightweight alternative to the Boston 12, you might be better served by the Mach 6, really. It has more of that Boston feeling, whereas the SL has more of that super soft feeling you might expect from a Hoka. So all right, that was the first one. Second one here, cruising downhill. Let's bang it. Yeah, it really just feels like there's nothing on my feet in the best way possible. Cushioned enough, but so light. Just bang number 3 on this little flat here. Summertime shot, throw your hands up in the sky. Feeling good. Light and fast. I wanted a little bit slower than I thought though. All right, last little stride at this stoplight here. Just 20-second burst. We're gonna bang this one hard. .444 pace. Shout out to Jay-Z. So the goal of these strides is to get some faster work and remind the legs what it feels like to pick up the pace, to move quicker, to fire off a little bit more rapidly than we would typically on a relaxed everyday run. So it's supposed to make us faster overall by making it easier to run faster during a slower run. So fire off some strides, get those fast twitch muscles moving a little bit, wake up the legs. Then that makes those slow twitch muscle paces hopefully come a little bit more naturally. And the general way people talk about this is running economy. So it makes it feel, and physiologically, it makes it easier on the body to maintain a faster pace, theoretically, when we do these strides. So I'm now cruising in to the cribbo. pop these shoes off and get into the SL2 in a sec.
All right, guys, finished our quick run there in the Mach 6, 4 miles, average 7:30, exactly a 7:30 pace. And that's what this shoe does. It locks you in to one pace range that feels like a faster everyday pace for you, and it just holds you there. And for me today, it was 7:30. I typically would have run, if I were doing an unbroken 10 miler after I had 3 hard days in a row, or 3 higher volume days with some intensity. So 20 mile long on Sunday. Monday, we did a 16-mile double run day in the Pegasus, which felt like a 26-mile double run day. And then yesterday, we did the 20-mile double run day in the Adizero SL2 with that faster workout in the morning. So on a day like today, I typically would have been banging at a 8:15 pace or something in a shoe like the 860 or the 1080, or maybe I would have gone at a 740 pace in the Skyward X or something like that. But I'm testing shoes. So today we're doing the Mach 6, and it encouraged me to run faster than I would have normally. So for me, there's no point of running fast just to run fast, which is, shoes like this can sometimes get us to do that. So if you want a shoe for faster daily miles, this is going to be great, but definitely on the faster side, which is awesome. So I'm going to compare it to the SL2 now, pop these guys on. I'm not going to take the GoPro out because I've run with that a bunch of times before already in the SL2. So if you want to see me running with the GoPro, giving the live insights in the SL2, go check out the video I posted yesterday, the 100 or the full day of testing, or check out the first run review. But Mach 6, man, fun, bouncy. I can feel the rocker a ton. That's the biggest difference, or few biggest differences here. Let me say them while they're still fresh in my mind. The rolling rocker. We got something back. No, we gotta clean that up. So the rolling rocker, the additional midfoot and forefoot stack, it just feels so much taller in the Mach 6, and then a little bit of denser foam. So conversely, that would mean Adizero SL, a little bit lower, softer, less of a rocker. Now, what we want to test for this SL2 is, how is the bounce? And yeah, just as I'm slipping my foot in here, I have a lot more, my heel and midfoot have a lot more room to wiggle around. And it's not necessarily because of the sizing issue, it's the way that they've wrapped the foam and added a little bit more support in the upper of the Mach 6. The Mach 6 has better upper stability. The foam, again, still isn't the most stable, but compared to the SL2, the upper is a little bit more locked in around the back here, and you get the wider base. So stability is also going to go to our friend, the Hoka Mach 6. All right, let me pop this guy on. I'm going to do 6 miles in the SL2 just so we get 10 on the morning. You guys know how I am. I got to get my 10 morning miles unless I feel a little bit off my rocker. No pun intended, because the SL2 does not have a rocker. Yeah, overall way flatter in the SL2, which is just weird given the stack height and drop is supposed to be higher in the SL2. But again, these things don't always work how you might expect them to. But all right, 6 miles, baby, SL2. Let us do this thing. Alright guys, we successfully completed 6 miles in the Adizero SL2, and we did our chores. We put away the trash can, and I don't know why. I think someone's doing construction over there. It is so loud out here this morning. Which means I think we're gonna have to do another backyard breakdown today. Can't use our podium out there on the street, but alright, let's see what we got before we pop these off. Can't even see that. Brighten it up. Bada boom, bada bing.
finish. I've been thinking about doing a Koros Pace 3 review. Let me know if you guys want to see the Koros Pace 3 2,000 mile review. If that's of interest to you guys, we'll slot that in at some point soon. So 6.15 miles, 7:53 pace. That's a big difference between the Mach 6, and the effort felt pretty consistent in 48 minutes. So there's not going to be a clear winner here. I already told you that, but running in these shoes did expose some differences today. And this one has more of that simple workhorse vibe. It's not lighter weight, but it feels more streamlined. It feels like there's less going on. There's less of a rocker. Doesn't feel like as much foam. But it also feels like it's kind of at the limits of its abuse. That was 26 miles in the last 26 hours, I guess. Yeah, because yesterday I did a 20-mile double day, and then we did 6 miles in this. So it's a workhorse. It has that workhorse, robust feel to it, but at the same time, and this is just kind of the character of the shoe, it always feels like it's at the limits of bottoming out. Is it too soft? I ask myself this almost every time I run the shoe. Is it too soft? And then I get into the run, and the answer is always no. It's just the perfect amount of softness. But at some points in this run, I did feel like I needed to dig out a little bit. It was almost at the edge of that, like the New Balance 1080, at the edge of that feeling of, am I going to have to fight against the foam? And shoes that have tipped past that point for me, Asics Gel Nimbus. That is a shoe that is just too soft for me. This shoe and the 1080, they thread that needle. They toe the line without going over it. But with 26 miles in the past 26 hours, I am really pushing the shoe to the limit of its abuse. It doesn't, and 99% of runners, unless they're Adidas pro athletes, and even them, they're probably not going to be putting 26 miles in 26 hours on one pair of shoes because they'll be doing different types of workouts. Maybe they're switching into the Adios Pro 4 Evo or Adios 8 or 9 for workouts. So I'm really doing a little bit of an extreme stress test to the shoe, and it's holding up decently well. Maybe, so I think I am going to run this afternoon. I'm still deciding if I want to give this shoe a rest and run in the Tempest or 860 or something, or do I want to just keep beating it down and see how it responds? I'm leaning towards keep beating it down and see how it responds, because if Adidas wants this shoe, and if we all want this shoe to be the new Pegasus, it's got to stand up to 30 plus miles in 30 hours, because the Pegasus, while it's not exciting, did stand up to that. And I was complaining through all 30 of those miles in 30 hours, all 100 miles. But the shoe didn't change character at all. The Pegasus that's something you got to get. Velocity Nitro 3, Nova Blast, those types of shoes that are firmer. Pegasus is the least exciting out of that bunch. But the outsole holds up well. The Pegasus 41 outsole is actually questionable, but the foam in that, man, it holds up really well. My heel felt really protected the whole time I was running in that shoe. So not nearly as exciting as this guy, but that is a shoe that can withstand abuse. No victim blaming the Pegasus, baby. It is not a victim. So this guy we'll have to see, but I'm happy with how it's performed through a ton of this mileage so far. Very different from the Mach 6, though, so let's go to the backyard, see if we can get away from this noise, do the final little breakdown here. And the last thing that I wanted to say is, so I almost went, what was it? Yeah, I almost went 8 miles instead of just doing the 6. But what I've realized about the nutrition and these double days is my recovery and refuel is a lot easier if I only do 10 versus 12 in the morning. I don't know what it is about that additional 15 minutes, but I think 10 miles puts me closer to an hour and 10 minutes versus 12 miles, especially at a more recovery pace. That puts me some days over 90 minutes, and I think that 90-minute to 80-minute zone, that's a tipping point where below 80 minutes, recovery is a little bit easier for the second run. It's easier to refuel and get everything. It's easier for my body to rebound, and then over 90 minutes in the morning, no matter the intensity or pace, it's a little bit harder just due to the time on feet to feel as good, especially in the heat. So a little bit of sharing my experience with you guys. Hopefully that's helpful for somebody. If you guys have any questions on double days and my experience so far with it, let me know. Let's pop out to the backyard and do this breakdown. All right, before we do the breakdown, I want to read a comment here from my friend Brendan Wise.
And he is a big Adidas fan. He's the reason I got the Adios Pro 3 because he kept asking me to get it, and I love that shoe. So he got the SL2, and these are his insights. He's about a 3:30, I think a sub 3:30 marathoner. Put some respect on Brendan's marathon time. I think he considers himself a bigger runner. I'm not sure, Brendan. If you're watching, drop below. But he said he's done several double-digit runs in the SL2 so far. Fun, bouncy, fast, stable for over-pronators. That's great. He says his ankle's not caving in at all when landing. And I think that's due to a little bit of that lower foam feel. It does feel pretty flat. He says shoe worked well for heel and forefoot striking. I agree. He enjoys it more than the Boston 12. 12 is a better racing option, but his long runs are more enjoyable in the SL2. So thanks, Brendan, for sharing your insights with us so far. Now let's go do the breakdown. If you guys have insights on either of these shoes, drop them below. For now, I'll give you my insights, baby. The sound stopped for a second down here. I'm going to see if we can't sneak this one in before it starts ramping up again. All right, so we have a 2015 Honda Odyssey coming, but we just got to get this breakdown in before that sound is going. So we are continuing day 2 in our week of abuse on the Adizero SL2. So 20-mile double day yesterday, 6 miles in the morning today. That's a little better. Plus the 4 miles on the Mach 6, so 10 miles total. Now, as I said, there is no clear winner in between these shoes. These are the 2 top shoes, I think, with the Rebel. The Rebel's up there as well. But that Rebel is a little bit more flexible, lightweight. These are the top 2 fast, fun dailies. Rebel V4 is a little bit of a more speed-oriented shoe. I wouldn't love to take that shoe up to 90 minutes. Either of these can handle 10-plus mile runs with ease. They're both soft and they're both bouncy, but key differences. And again, there's not going to be a winner, but my goal here is just to highlight the differences and what might work better for you. Dude, when people pass, I get so uncomfortable, man. It's okay. Just a random person. There we go. So Mach 6, a little bit more cushioned, a little bit of a denser foam. I'm not sinking as deep down into the foam, and it feels like it gets me up onto my toes a little bit quicker. So this shoe, the main ride experience I'm getting is that smooth rolling rocker, but it does really encourage the mid to forefoot landing. It doesn't feel as great for relaxed running in the back here, and I really can't do relaxed running in this shoe. It wants to get me up to the front half of the platform, which is a little bit different than the Mach 5, the previous version of the shoe, because it had the caboose hanging off. I think Hoka calls it the swallowtail technology, and they chopped off the tail on this guy. Because it doesn't have as much of that smooth curvature at the end hanging back here, it really encourages me to get up on the front of the platform and turn over the leg. So this leans a little bit faster than the Adizero SL2. It feels a little bit bouncier, a little bit denser. Now, SL2, this is more streamlined. It feels simpler. It has more rubber. It has more of that workhorse vibe to it. So while it is lower stack and doesn't feel as tall and cushioned, it feels more like a running shoe that you do want to beat into the ground. When I lace this up today, it doesn't have as much pop as yesterday, and as I said, it's at the limits of its abuse, but it feels like a shoe that I can just keep beating down and it will do pretty well no matter what pace I'm running on it. And it does feel okay when landing back here, like our friend Brendan said. It does feel okay landing in the middle. At the front, it is a really versatile shoe. So in terms of versatility out of these two, that's going to be SL2 for running. Mach 6 is going to be a little bit of that faster shoe, though I don't think it's going to stand up as well to the abuse. So you really can't go wrong with either of these. The way I would decide is if you want very soft, simple, that would be the Adizero SL2. If you want a little bit bouncier, a little bit, I don't necessarily think more exciting, but it does have more of that roll to it. It has more of that pop. So think about Saucony Endorphin. Man, the van is just out here today. So think about the Saucony Endorphin Speed 3. If what you loved most about the Speed 3 was the rolling sensation and the taller foam, get the Mach 5. If what you love most about the Speed 3 was the softness, get the Adizero SL. If you ever wondered what would the Saucony Endorphin Speed 3 or Speed 2 feel like without the plate, and you think that would be a cool feeling, get the Adizero SL2 here. So both of these are great shoes. You really cannot go wrong. This is probably one of the hardest comparisons I've had to do. And so now I have about 34 miles on the Adizero SL2. We're over 60 in the Hoka Mach 6, so stay tuned for more. I don't think this book is closed on either of these. I still need to get the long run in both of these shoes. I have done the 20-mile double day in both of these. I think the SL2 wins for high mileage. Again, it felt better on the second run is the Mach 6, and this isn't really a fair comparison this morning, even with the liveliness of the foam, because the Mach 6 is fresh. I have not run in this guy in maybe 2 months at this point, versus I put 20 miles on this guy yesterday. So either way though, this definitely feels lower to the ground, more simple, more streamlined. This feels a little bit taller, more of that rolling sensation, and of course the fit is worse. But overall, 2 great shoes. Both of these are shoes that I recommend. If you're looking for fun shoes, you'll be happier with either of these. But if you don't like super soft, then I would go for the Mach 6. That's the key deciding point. If you do not want super soft, Mach 6 is gonna be a better bet for you. All right, guys, so, there's a fly in my Mach 6. So there you have it. That is our head-to-head comparison. I'm going to be abusing the SL2 a little bit more over the next few days. I'm not sure if we'll do another comparison with it tomorrow, but I do want to get some more faster pace in this guy. See if it really can be. Can it be the modern Pegasus? I don't know, we'll have to find out. So that's all I have for you today, guys. I will be back tomorrow with another video. See you then. One more thing, guys. This is the refuel before the second run. So we have the leftovers from last night, the brown rice tabbouleh, absolute fire that Charles made. So it's brown rice, pickled onions, parsley, cucumbers, tomatoes. She also made these smashed salt and pepper potatoes that were really good. So all that's left is just this little piece. Homemade hummus. And then these are the Aldi vegan meatballs, absolute fire. So lots of carbs and then some protein. I typically wouldn't do this much protein, but I have over 3 hours probably until I'm gonna run again. So I want to make sure I'm getting in good fuel. But this is not the only reason I turned back on this thing. I did want to say, I don't feel like I have the definitive answer yet to SL2 versus Mach 6. So what I wanted to say is, if you've done a long run, either of these shoes, drop us below. And also, I owe you guys a part 2 to this video, because man, this is the closest one we've tried this year, closest one we've done. These are both great shoes. I don't think you can go wrong, really, but I will do a part 2 of this, probably just a short, really short part 2 at some point after I've done the 20-mile long run in both of these shoes. So stay tuned for that. I'll see you guys tomorrow. I'm going to keep on abusing the SL2.